Okay.
Give me a second.
Oh, wait. I'll let you get your screen going.
Yeah. Present. Okay. All right.
Okay.
We're all set.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, hello, everybody, and thank you so much for being here. We know it's a small group tonight, but we know a lot of people actually wanted to get this as a recording as well. We kind of threw this together, just at the last minute, but we're really glad that you're here and we know that your time is valuable. So we're going to try and keep this tight and impactful and get to the point and cover all the details. And then if there's any questions at the end, we'll leave time for that as well. So we're going to keep this no longer than 30 minutes. We promise that. For those of you who I don't know, my name is Lindy. I have been in the fitness industry for over 20 years at this point. I've been a group fitness instructor, personal trainer, a club manager, a studio owner, and an online wellness coach. And I primarily work with women in strength training and with a focus on functional wellness. So I have seen and done everything in my 20 years in the fitness and health space, all the workouts, all the supplements, all the fad diets, everything. But when I ended up personally struggling with infertility and miscarriage and with an autoimmune condition, despite everything that I was doing right and being super healthy, that's when I took a deep dive into the world of kind of root cause and natural healing and also functional health. And I've really spent the last 10 years of my own healing journey, educating myself and looking for everything that I could that was natural healing and preventative and regenerative in terms of health and wellness. So this is like, it's not just my passion and my career. It's truly what I believe is also my calling. And as a trainer who works with over 40 clients a week, primarily women in midlife, I recently especially kept noticing the same kinds of things. And I know Erin will speak to this because she's noticed the same thing as well. But I kept noticing the same kind of things, which is that I can program perfectly. I can dial in nutrition. I can hold my clients accountable. I can check what their macros are and I can look at the workouts that they're doing and the movement patterns that they're using outside of sessions. But sometimes their bodies still aren't responding the way that they should be. And after a while, with that being met with that kind of frustration from clients of like, Lindy, I'm not sure I'm doing I'm doing all the things, and it just seems like something has shifted and nothing seems to be working like it used to, or I'm dealing with things that I never have before. I really started to dig deep, and that curiosity is what led me into metabolic health, and eventually then into the peptide space, which is what we're going to be sharing with you today. I first started using peptides for myself actually a couple of years ago. I started out with B12 and glutathione. They were things that I was getting through local, med spas or nurse practitioner friends who I knew offered them. And then when I found out about what we're going to share with you tonight, which is a longevity telehealth wellness company, and the fact that they offered them, that's what opened my eyes to what was available, and not just for me, but was available for my clients. And that's what we wanted to share with you guys. So I'm going to let Erin introduce herself as well, and then we'll kind of get into things.
Yeah. So, hi guys. My name is Erin Goodman. I live in upstate New York. I have been, God, a trainer. I'll be 43, and I have been a trainer in the fitness space since I was 17 years old, teaching spin classes at my local YMCA. Just kind of graduated to teaching group fitness and, becoming a personal trainer and just really falling in love with helping people feel better through, utilizing their own body and realizing what they're capable of. And, I'm 43 years old now, and I was one that was skeptic. And I totally share that with a lot of people about different peptides because I really wasn't educated on them, so to speak. Like Lindy is very educated on some of the other peptides. But I just found myself open to learning, especially in midlife when a lot of hormones shift and a lot of things shift, and a lot of people and my clients, what I found were doing everything right, which some of you might be on. You're like, I'm doing everything right. You might have clients that are doing everything right, and they just feel stuck and frustrated. And we'll share a little bit more about the peptides and what they actually do and what they actually are, but it kind of opened my eyes to helping people in a different way. And I really think that most of the people that I do help online in my nutrition and fitness coaching are ladies who are not new to exercising. They're not new to, getting their steps in, prioritizing protein, doing all the things, but feeling stuck. So again, this is why I partnered with this company, this longevity telehealth company, because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it for you as a fitness professional, but you can still do what you're trained to do what you love to do, but offer these as another tool and another avenue in your tool belt to help more people. So
Yeah, for
that
sure.
you can just
Absolutely.
kind of share if you want to share a little bit about this, Lindy, and then I have a before and after slide too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the problem that we're all seeing, and like Aaron just said, this is going to sound for any of you who are in the fitness industry in any capacity, whether that means that you are, a personal trainer or an online coach, or you're an instructor or you're a physical therapist, all the things in that realm. The problem that we all see that is going to sound very familiar is that, we have clients who, like Aaron said, are maybe in a calorie deficit, but they're not losing any weight. They're lifting consistently, but their body composition is not changing. They're now shifted into perimenopause, and they feel like their body has just flipped a switch, and they're like, I don't even know, I don't even feel like myself in my body. They're struggling with recovery and inflammation, or they have visceral fat that just won't budge. They're sleeping poorly, and their energy tanks. It's the same kinds of things. We all see it, whether you're a trainer or you're an online coach. We're running into the same problems. So we can look at behavior all day long, but when something like insulin resistance or chronic inflammation or hormonal shifts come into play, or there's metabolic adaptation. And a lot of people in their 40s are dealing with metabolic dysfunction because
Mm-hmm.
of chronic dieting or toxin overload, or the different things that they've encountered throughout their life. That's a physiology thing. So we can coach behavior all day long, but that's physiology, and physiology doesn't always respond to just try harder, or just dial in your nutrition more, or just be a little bit more disciplined. And the old adage of like, move more and eat less, that's actually not something that really works great, especially for women in midlife. So physiology doesn't always respond to it, and that is the gap, especially for people in the fitness industry. So, when Aaron and I started learning about peptides each individually, it really wasn't about aesthetics. It was about learning how to support the body at a signaling level. So Aaron's going to talk a little bit more about what peptides are. And I'm sorry, Aaron, I think I jumped into that and didn't go through the other.
No, that's fine. I just kind of clicked through them. It was just like some intro slides, but that's absolutely fine.
Okay, so why don't you break down a little bit of like what peptides actually are for
Sure.
people? I think that probably anybody in our industry is aware, or is seeing them all over the place in social media, but a lot of people don't understand what they are.
Perfect. Yeah, so again, my name's Erin Goodman, and I had to learn this for myself, guys, what exactly were peptides, because I really didn't know until I started educating myself. And I think a lot of us are, right now, like GLP-1s are the big peptides. And I think a lot of people, and this shifts my perspective, when a lot of people hear GLP-1 specifically, they automatically associate them to drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, Manjaro, and Zepbound. What really changed it for me, we're learning that GLP-1s and these other peptides are just peptides. And peptides, the simplest term is they're short chains of amino acids. They're the building blocks of protein. Our body already produces these peptides, and certain peptides work on certain receptors. So human growth releasing secretagogues work on the human growth releasing pulse, particularly at night. GLP-1 peptides work on GLP-1 receptors in your body. So more importantly, they act as little messengers. They signal the body to do what it already knows to do. To give an example, GLP-1, when you naturally eat, you actually it's a signal for your body to produce GLP-1, which helps regulate appetite, keep you fuller for longer. But did you know that GLP-1 signal is only good for 3 to 5 minutes? So by utilizing particularly a microdose, which I am a very an advocate for even beyond weight loss, helps it to create a little bit longer of a shelf life. So instead of 3 to 5 minutes, you're getting that 5 to 7 day peptide working in your favor, working on those receptors. So they're not forcing the body, they're not overriding it, they're just communicating with it. And different peptides, like I said, support different pathways. Sub support metabolic function, insulin sensitivity, okay, GLP-1 specifically. Some support human growth release, which impacts recovery, sleep, and visceral fat. Some support healing, tissue healing, inflammation, muscle recovery. Some that you might know, such as NAD plus, support mitochondrial energy production. And these are really just tools being used in longevity medicine and functional health. And now, because of telehealth, which is the wave of the future, they're more accessible than ever. These are for physician prescribed peptides. They're not research grade. They're not something that comes in a powder form and you have to reconstruct with water like a mad scientist in your bathroom. These are all specific for you. And that is really what changed the game for me, because it really gave me an idea of what's safe and reputable with this company that we're utilizing. So it's not a do it yourself supplement. Like I said, this is where things get really interesting for us as fitness professionals.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that
Yes.
as well. I've had so many conversations with people as I've been, sharing about peptides online. And I obviously work in a gym, so I'm encountering people all the time, and
Mhm.
people come up, and that is such a huge deal. You guys, especially for those of us who are in the fitness industry, we cannot be risking referring people to just random websites where they're getting
Yep.
peptides from just anywhere, and they're not coming with a prescription, and there's no medical oversight of it. That's a dangerous game for anybody in our industry to be playing. So that's why this opportunity is amazing as well, because it is a company that oversees all of that. We're not doing
Mhm.
any of that stuff. So the fitness industry is really shifting right now, and I'm sure that you guys are noticing it. Like, people are not just joining a gym for the gym itself. Like, they're expecting it to be more of a whole holistic wellness experience. At the facility that I work at, 2 years ago, we actually built in a room that has human touch massage chairs. It has a dry sauna in it. It has a salt chamber in it. Like, people are looking for the whole picture of wellness. So the fitness
Mhm.
industry is shifting, and clients are no longer just asking about fat loss. They're no longer just asking about what's the best workout for me to do so that I look good, for the summer. They're asking about hormones and inflammation and longevity and metabolic health and energy and cognitive function. Everybody is shifting much more. People are so much more aware of what it truly means to actually be healthy from the inside out, and not just about how many calories did I burn in this particular workout.
Yep.
GLP-1 medications have normalized injectable wellness, and telehealth has expanded it so that access is nationwide. So those two things have given a whole new platform in the health and wellness industry. And like I said earlier, having been in it for as long as I have, I've done all the supplements. I've seen all the things, and I honestly believe, obviously supplements are always going to have their place, but I believe that peptides are going to take over what
Yep.
supplements have traditionally been for people, because they just work on a completely different level. So the future fitness professional will not just write workouts. They'll not just stand in front of a class and teach workouts. They'll understand metabolic health, and they'll collaborate with medical ecosystems in order to help people with whole body wellness. And here's the key, and Erin said this as well, but we are not prescribing, we're not diagnosing, and we are not playing doctor in any way.
Yep.
We are simply aligning with physician-led telehealth providers, and we are educating, we're referring, we're pointing to the resources that can help people, and then we are the support system for behavior and lifestyle, right alongside the medical oversight that they're going to receive through the company itself. And so for us, as you know, Aaron and myself as fitness professionals, this has meant better client outcomes. I mean, that part alone for me, even if I didn't, do this and make any kind of money doing it, having better client outcomes alone is worth it because
Hmm.
those people are trusting you anyway. They're coming to you because they trust you, and being able to say, here's how you can get better results, and then having them come back and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe. I mean, I have so many clients that within, days or even weeks that will say, I cannot believe how much better I feel. I cannot
Hmm.
believe that I didn't start doing something like this sooner. And I mean, none of us knew about it sooner, but better
Right.
client outcomes, which then creates deeper trust from your clients. So that means they're going to be sticking with you longer. That means better retention from your clients. They're going to have more trust in you because you referred them to something that has worked for them. It's recurring revenue without additional hours in front of clients and without inventory. As somebody who works with clients every single day, I average about 55 to 60 PT sessions a week. Like that to be able to add recurring revenue without having to stand in front of more clients every week is huge. I mean, there's only so many hours in a day, and for those of you who maybe don't stand in front of clients, but you meet with patients or whatever it is that you do, it's the same exact thing. There's only so many hours in a day and only so much of you to go
You can
around.
get. Hmm.
Yes. And it's also expanding our impact beyond our session hours,
Yes.
which is very important as well. So this isn't at all about abandoning fitness. That is one of the absolute essential foundations that goes right along with any peptides that are being used. Fitness and nutrition are the foundations, lifestyle habits, all of that. It just means that it's evolving. So Erin's going to talk a little bit about who this is for.
So this is really for people who I think work with midlife clients or really any clients, but I feel like midlife, like that's where we're at. So that's who kind of I'm reaching and I'm talking to know Lindy as well. But it are people who are really looking for solutions right now. Think like 30 to 35, 40 years old plus. They already have hormones and metabolic conversations going. I find this group of people like naturally wants to learn more and to educate. And like Lindy said, it's not just about having that summer give me a workout to get summer ready. It's like let me know how to like work with my hormones, and they want to get lab results. I just feel like it's a different shift that's happening. They care about the long-term health, not just the outside appearance, the aesthetics, and they want to stay ahead of really where the industry is going. Okay. It's not for someone who's looking for a quick cash grab. I'll tell you right that. And it's not for someone who wants to promise magic results because again, I think that people that have a solid foundation already, like these peptides, layering these peptides on top of those healthy habits already, are getting way better results than somebody who's not doing anything. Okay. So if you're teaching your clients, which I know you guys probably are that are on here, of those healthy habits is strength training, protein, making sure they're prioritizing fiber, they're doing all those other things, they're going to have way better results with these peptides because that foundation is already been built. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is this me? I think this is me, right? So yeah. It inquires integrity, education, and a collaboration. And that's really what it is education. And I will say this, and Lindy can say, a point to this too, but we are leading with education. Like I am always sharing any kind of articles, any kind of podcasts or YouTube videos that I'm listening to because I really want to change the fear mongering and to change how people are learning. And I feel like I said before, if people are really educating themselves, they're going to have a way different experience. And I just always think education is key with anything. But if you ever thought there has to be a deeper way to support your clients, this is honestly the conversation that you need to have. So if this resonates with
Yeah.
you, I'll let Lindy go off first and just let's chat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And what you said, like the whole thing, there has to be a deeper way to support my clients. And again, whether you're in fitness or you're in physical therapy or you're in health in some capacity in that way, this is the deeper way to support your clients. And I know that the peptide that people are or the injectable that most people are familiar with that comes to mind immediately, of course, is GLP-1. But the
Hmm.
company that we're partnered with offers over a dozen other ones, and we're
Yes.
adding new ones regularly. And I think, in fact, one's going to either be announced tomorrow or Thursday.
Tomorrow? Yeah, I'm
I am
excited.
so excited about the one that
Me
is coming
too.
tomorrow. But even just since I have been a part of the company since September, I think we've added three just since
Three.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, three just since then. So we've got NAD plus, glutathione, B12. We've got a variety of growth hormone peptides,
Yep.
methylene blue,
BPC. Yep.
GHKCU, which I'm using right now, which is for um, skin and hair and tissue regeneration. And I've been actually learning a lot more about what it does beyond that. I mean, I got it because I was like, "Oh, I want my hair to grow more and I want my skin to look better." And then I started
Hmm.
learning more about what it does at a deeper level, and my mind was like blown. BPC 157 and TB 500, which is for, recovery and repair and coming back from injuries and surgeries, and, people who have chronic pain in their bodies. Like, people are looking for these solutions. And I love that these are truly biological signals that are telling, basically just saying, hey, remember how we used to do this when we were younger?
Hmm. Yep.
Let's try that again because that was really good for us.
Hmm.
So it's just teaching your body to do what it should be doing anyway. They are not pharmaceuticals. And they're completely different from oral supplements, which have to go through your digestive system. So that means they're impacted by digestive enzymes and, gastric acids and all of that, and filtered by the liver. These go directly to the cells to start
Yep.
working. So they are much more powerful. So we are opening up conversations with a small group of aligned, fitness and wellness professionals who want to explore this more deeply. I know, Erin, I know that I speak for both of us when I say we are being incredibly intentional
Yep.
about who we are inviting to be part of this. This is not an opportunity where it's just like, hey, anyone and everyone who, wants to do it. That's
100%.
not the way we're approaching it at all. I'm being extremely intentional about who I'm choosing to align with me with this, because I think that it has to be people who are committed to people's wellness. They're committed to
Hmm.
understanding how it works. They want to provide the support, and, they're already doing living the life themselves,
Right.
and preaching, I mean, sorry, walking what they preach. So if you're curious about becoming a brand partner, or even just learning more about how the model works, we would love to connect with you one-on-one. We can absolutely, whoever invited you to this, that's the person that you should reach out to talk to about it. But we also want to open this up for questions as well. And if nothing else, we hope that tonight expanded your perspective on where the health and fitness industry is heading. We believe that it is the future of it is integrative and
Hmm.
collaborative, and it is longevity focused. And the professionals who understand that are going to be the ones who are leading the way and leading in the industry 5 years from now. So,
Yep. I
do
agree.
you want to take time to answer any questions if anybody
Yeah.
has any? And you can use the chat for that or unmute. It's up to you.
Yep. And I'm just sharing kind of what you guys could see how it kind of works as if yourself or a client wanted to come into, they just don't buy a peptide. Like they have to literally fill out a medical health assessment, a medical review. And I've actually had sometimes people get not approved right away and the doctor will actually contact them, which I think is amazing because it lets you know they're not just prescribing these peptides to everybody, and it's true medical oversight so that you can be, like Lindy said, the support person and not offering medical advice, but you're there to help them with those other lifestyle habits that they have in place. And then everything is shipped from our top 503 compounding pharmacy called Clover RX. Your customers get everything they need to literally start as soon as that drops on their doorstep. So I thought that was important to share of how that works. You're basically having the conversation with your client of what you think would be a great peptide for them to start with, and then you're the point person, and Ellie is the provider that provides them with the doctor, the patient portal, and really everything to get going with within this telehealth space.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess that is something we didn't really talk about, is the process for things.
Yeah,
But
I just thought it was good to share because a lot of people
yeah,
ask me, so I'm like, you know what I mean?
100%. I
Yep.
completely agree. Yeah. That's what people ask me a lot too is like, are you the one who's telling them? And I'm like, I'm listening to what their problem, what
Right.
their problem is, what they're struggling with. And then I'm pointing them to what I think the best options would be and giving them more information. And then they can ask questions of me and then they make the decision. But then
Hmm.
then they go online and fill out the health intake form to go from there.
Yep.
I have a question. And I talked to Lindy about this earlier. It seems like a lot of things on social media, which obviously are not necessarily, the appropriate sources, talk a lot about cycling. And
Hmm.
most of these peptides, it looks like you order 2 months at a time. Some of them, it sounds like, should be really like 4-week cycles. Is there a table or something that goes through the recommended cycle periods for some of these?
You want to answer that, Lindy, or want me to?
Sure. I think I mean there's not necessarily this is actually something that Aaron and I were just talking about last week
Hmm.
and we were like that's one area where I want to educate myself more about it and what is best and I do think some of it is individualized. So I will say like for me I'm kind of in a space where I'm just wanting to try a lot of different things and see how I feel and which ones. So like I did NAD plus in the fall, felt absolutely amazing on it. I would probably just continue year round, with that. But I was like, but I want to cycle some other things in and see what the benefits of them are. In terms of a specific protocol, though, I do think that Ellie sets it up as being like a 2 or a 3 month minimum because obviously that's going to be like that's how long it's going to take to truly feel some like
Right.
people usually get a response very quickly but they want to make sure okay this is meant to be something that gets into your body and you use for a while so it's usually minimum 2 months and then in terms of a break everything that I so far have like come across and in terms of what I've listened to on podcasts from practitioners or YouTube videos or that kind of thing is generally like even just a 2 to 4 week break
Hmm.
is enough to allow like just the body to not get too acclimated to it and like to get desensitized. It's enough to let
Yeah.
those receptors reset. So it doesn't need to be like long periods of time. So like even though it's been gosh, what I guess at this point 4 months since I haven't used NAD plus, I didn't need to take that amount of time. I'm just trying to utilize other things in between.
Right.
So I would
Yeah.
say the answer that I have come across most often is like 2 to 4 weeks, maybe 5, but I think 2 to 4 is probably the standard
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to say the same thing. It's just enough for those receptors not to get used to something. And I feel like that's with anything. If your body gets used to something, you might want to change it up or take a break. Like, same thing with your workouts. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, like we preach like progressive overload, but maybe having that deload week, you know what I'm saying? Like, kind of similar to that is going to give your body like a little, like, oh, okay, this is what I'm doing and kind of give it a little break. But we do have a really nice, PDF that one of our doctors, his name's Dr. Jason Pesnick. He shares a ton of information on Instagram, and he's been on a lot of our health educational series, especially for launching these new peptides. And he put together something just so people have like a resource of certain peptides where you could do like Lindy said, like 4 months and then take 2 weeks off. But it really kind of depends. Like BPC 157 you could do it for a couple months and it's injury specific. So if you're working with an injury, you could use it for that healing purpose for an injury and then take some time off. But I'm the same way like Lindy. I kind of wanted to try things and kind of get that knowledge so that I can kind of share my experience with other people. But we do have that nice PDF that kind of gives you just like a little roadmap of how to cycle the different peptides if you wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. And I even do that with my supplements.
Yeah.
I have supplements that are my daily supplements, but every single week, usually I take my supplements Monday through Friday and I kind of just take the weekend because
Yep.
I'm allowing my body to not get so like,
Used to
oh,
it.
this we receive this every single day and then it just kind of dulls, the effect
Mm-hmm.
of it. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Any other
Anyway,
questions? I think that's the last slide. Yes, it is. Okay,
okay.
perfect.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess if we don't have any other questions, we did record this, so we
Hmm.
will be able to send that out. And if anybody's on here that they want, they want it to be able to rewatch or anything, but I would say most importantly, just reach out to the person who invited you and talk to them. And obviously, Erin and I are available to answer questions as well. But if you think of any questions, a lot of times it comes after the fact. People think
Yeah.
of their questions after the fact, so be sure to reach out.
Yes. Yeah, this will be a great resource. And, just as far as like I wanted to lead with joining LEMD too, like a little bit as a brand partner.
Oh yeah.
It would be a great resource for you guys, like Lindy said before, to not have more hours in the gym, more hours training people. A great educational resource for yourself. And I always thought of this, like even when I was in the gym, personal training, doing all the group classes, is it was like, especially as a trainer, and I feel like in that fitness space, it's like you can really only reach, unless you're doing a lot of online training, you can really only reach people in person that are in that like 15 to 20-mile radius. So think about it. If you have a really great impact on social media and you have a reach on social media, think about how many more people you can reach, because you already have that know and trust factor with people. They know about fitness, they know about nutrition. So you could really kind of build off of that, and to have this be another opportunity and another tool in your toolbox to help even more people. And in return, you're educating yourself on these peptides, what I personally think are, I've seen so much growth just with being within the peptide space since April. I think it is going to grow like
My gosh. Yeah.
astronomically, yeah,
It,
in the next couple of
yeah,
years.
for sure. And that's such a
Hmm.
good point, Erin. So yeah, I mean, I live, locally in central Illinois. I mean, I don't have clients traveling across the state to come and
Right.
train with me, but I absolutely have clients from all over the country who are working with me in terms of
Yes.
peptides. And I'm looking at the names of some of the people on the call, and I know you guys are in the same situation where it's like you see people face to face in person locally, but there's a huge reach out there outside of that. And that's where it can be a huge blessing to you in terms of, residual income, because you're
Hmm.
able to reach a lot more people who don't have to come in and have an appointment with you. And that's time, all of
Yep.
those things are additional time, and hours. So it's tremendous in that way. And obviously there's legwork on the back end to have the conversations and to make sure everything's
Hmm.
in place. But once you get going with it, it's and they're fun conversations
Yes.
to have. I'm just loving it. I've just been geeking out on it because I just love helping people in this area. And as I look at, I recognize a lot of the names on the call. I know that you guys are the same way. So
Hmm. I have said to Lindy before too, is like I feel like so aligned in this space, and I really feel like the team that we're with, like I said before earlier, is we're leading with the education, and I think that is what sets it apart. You know what I'm saying? Is like these people who are coming in with these peptides, this particular like era, like they really want to learn, and I think that is key. If you can educate people, like, and you give them that power to make their own informed decision and to learn the why, the how, I think that's amazing right there.
yeah. And I guess one other thing I would say as we wrap up is for any of you who are in the space where, maybe you're not in the fitness space, but
Mhm.
you're in the health space in some way, and maybe you're even somebody who can prescribe stuff and who could order stuff. Like that's a lot of additional legwork, and that's also inventory for you. And that's, that's meeting with people and having doing the medical intake and managing what their health history is, and then determining if the peptide's okay for them, and then placing the order and then getting it to them. All of that is handled for you with LEMD, every single bit of it. You don't have to do any of that. All of
Mhm.
it's handled by them. You're the pointer, you're the educator, you're the support person, and you can still do that, but this is just an additional stream that takes hours
Yep.
off the plate. So
Yep.
anyhow.
I totally agree. So yeah,
Okay.
so reach out to whoever, invited you on this call, me, Lindy, whoever, and just have the conversation and see if this would be a good fit for you.
Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right.
thanks, you guys. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, me too. All right.
Okay.
Have a good night. I will
Thanks,
get this up
everybody.
on the YouTube channel, and I'll send it to you, Lindy.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.